Chances are, if you are currently a nutrition coach, you got some paying clients or you have some people that you're working with, you know what you need to do to get them results. You have a pretty good idea of what that would look like, what needs to happen. You probably also know some things that you could be doing to grow your business, showing up online, putting everything into practice. A lot of times we know the things that we need to be doing, but it's always nice to have some reminders of the things that work really well and the words and that type of stuff. So I want to give you today, heading into the weekend, heading into, a new week, a new month coming up soon in the summer, some nutrition coaching reminders that you'll find helpful. This is stuff that I've put together, thoughts, and strategies that I passed along after working with literally thousands of nutrition clients and coaching hundreds of nutrition coaches. These are tips and strategies I know they've found very, very helpful. So I want to share them with you as well. Before we dive into the 7 reminders, keep in mind that enrollment is now open for the Dr. Mark Method 90-day nutrition certification program. We are filling up spots fast. Had quite a few calls today. I've had calls all week, have a few more booked for next week. Enrollment's going to close on Wednesday, which is June 26th, 2024. Space is filling up fast. So if you're on the fence about nutrition coaching and the quickest and easiest way to get started, support, guidance, a step-by-step plan, now's the time to apply. And if you're watching the replay, I'll make sure that you can see the place to go in the first link in the description, as well as I'm putting it in the chat here for you guys to check out. If you're tuning into the live stream today and you have any questions about anything that's discussed, drop it in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking. I'd love to help. I've been doing these office hours and live videos as much as I can over the winter here, at least one a week. And now I'm doing them daily. And I love connecting with you guys and getting a sense of where you're at, what you need help with. So let me know in the comments. Without further ado, though, let's dive into some of these nutrition coaching reminders, things that you would find helpful. The first one being, and I got a list over here. This is an email I've sent out in the past, and people really, really love it. If a nutrition client is struggling to get results, chances are you're giving them too much to work on and not too little. If you're a relatively new coach, you probably don't, maybe you're not aware of this yet, but this is exactly what you're doing. You're giving your clients way too many things that they could possibly work on. You're giving them way too many paths. I see it all the time in nutrition certifications. It's like, here are all the things you could know. Go coach someone, instead of it being like, now here's the basics. Here's the exact things you need to focus on. Focus on them and only them. Your clients are exactly the same. If you're going through check-ins and doing correspondence and you're saying things like, well, you could do this and this could be helpful for you. And this could be, something to look at a little more detail. It's just way too much. You need to be a bit more prescriptive based on the context of the situation and where your client's at, as well as what you think is going to be the most helpful, and focus in on that and address that and only that. The more specific you can get around what your client needs to do and get more dialed in, the better off they'll be. So a lot of times when clients struggle, it isn't because we're not giving them enough. And if anything, it could be because we're giving them too much. So keep that in mind. That's the first reminder. Second reminder, and this is a bit more of a marketing reminder, but no one wants to hire a nutrition coach. They don't. They'd rather spend their money elsewhere. Why they will hire a nutrition coach, though, is they'll happily pay for your services and your support and guidance and be super pumped up about it if they get a result, if they know what's in it for them. They'll happily pay for that. So think about that as you're talking about your services. Because at the end of the day, people, they don't want to need you. They don't want to have someone to give them, nutrition advice and that kind of stuff. But if they know that it's going to help them get a result much more effectively, much faster, have some fun in the process, that's what they're going to pay for. And it's that sort of mindset shift as you talk about these things in your coaching that's going to be a game changer for you in terms of, seeing where the client's coming from and putting yourself in their shoes. If you can think about it that way, You'll attract many more paying clients. Your clients will be much happier with you, and they'll probably learn more through the process because they see the finish line. They see what's in it for them. And for a lot of us, that's what's get started. If you think about any other thing in your life, like service-based thing that you do and you go through, when you hire someone, you're rarely as passionate about it as they are. You want a specific result. Got a lawn maintenance guy, cuts my lawn every week, loves grass. I am not as passionate about grass as he is. And I just want him to do a good job. I want him to look good. He tells me things around, maybe we should consider this and do that and those type of things. Honestly, I want it to look good and I want it to get done. And I don't really care when you do it or how you do it. It's just whatever we agree to and make it look nice, that kind of thing. Is there maybe a time and a place where a little more information about, fertilizer and watering and stuff could be helpful? Yeah, sure. But that's not why I hired him. I hired him to take care of something for me and to get a specific result, which is green looking grass that's, looks good. Got to keep that stuff in mind as we do it. Number 3, what you calculate someone should be eating. What you calculate someone should be eating using a calculation or using, something like theoretical information, and what they are eating or reporting that they're eating are 2 entirely different things. I've seen so many coaches be misled by this, where it's like they open, the textbook, a nutrition textbook, or that was given by the certification, that kind of stuff. And they start doing some calculations for their client around what that would look like, what they should be eating, that kind of stuff. They set the client up there, eat this much, that kind of thing. The client starts to do that and they go backwards in their goals. They actually move in the other direction. If they're trying to get leaner, they end up gaining weight. If they're trying to gain some muscle, they end up losing weight. What you need to keep in mind is that there's a big difference between what should be happening and what someone's actually doing. And those are 2 different things. They're like apples and oranges. As you give someone recommendations, you want to lean on and err on the side of what they're actually doing to get a bit closer to that, and they'll get better results because of that. That doesn't mean calculations are useless or anything like that, but they should just be, they're just a guide. They're just the goalposts. They help direct us towards starting places and making decisions, but they're not the end all be all of that process. Number 4, we're cruising through these. How you market your nutrition coaching business can be different than what you actually do in your coaching. This is a good one. What I see in so many new nutrition coaches and even like science-based nutrition coaches and how they present themselves online is way too close to what they do in their actual coaching process, which also lends itself to, the idea that what they care about is going to be the same thing the client cares about, which is not, the same at all. If you think about some of your best learning experiences in your life, take a second, close your eyes, think about a period of life, be it like in school or sports or any time that like it was like an amazing experience led by someone else. You probably can't remember the specifics of that situation, right? You probably remember like 1 to 2 key things. You remember how they made you feel. How we market our services is the exact same way. We don't need to go into the nitty-gritty of all the details around how we do things. Our potential clients, they don't care at all. What they care about is that like we get their attention, we can keep their attention, that they see what's in it for them. I always like to use like those florists that like, a lot of different businesses do this, but I know I see it quite a bit with like flower shops where they put like some crazy kid in a costume with a big pail of flowers near the curb of the road outside of their shop. They're usually in a costume, or it's like the inflatable man that does that thing. It's just to get attention. It's just to draw attention to the fact that we have this thing. Your social media and stuff can be the same thing. It doesn't need to be the exact same thing you do on the back end of your coaching. You can do things to get people's attention and entertain them. I like to think about it as like a combination of education and entertainment, edutainment. is the textbook definition for that. You want to do these things just to get people's attention so that they can enter the door into your coaching. What you do to get them to open that door and get to the back end of that can look different than what you do on the front end of your marketing. This is like, they're two different things. Maybe if you follow me on social media, you've seen like I've photoshopped a picture of my face on Snape's face, Professor Snape from Harry Potter, just to be, humorous, because I get a kick out of it. But I think you guys do too. Not take myself so seriously. It's that kind of stuff that, gets people's attention. They're like, this is different. This is something that I want to learn more about. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing you do in your actual coaching. Number 5, we're cruising along here. Keep in mind, if you're just tuning in, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. If you're thinking about, I want to get started nutrition coaching, you should apply for my program. Enrollment is now open. It's going to close on Wednesday. So get an application in. You can find that in the description, where to go, or I pinned it in the chat as well. I didn't pin it. If you're watching the stream right now and you're digging what I'm chatting about and all that fun stuff, hit that like button, drop a comment, any sort of engagement, even if it's just emoji, helps the channel. So I'd appreciate that. Number 5, 90% of nutrition coaching is going to be flat out reassuring your clients that they're on the right path and just to keep going. Without a doubt, everyone thinks about like, how do I optimize the check-in process and what adjustments do I make and that kind of stuff. Most of the time, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If things are moving in the right direction, your client's seeing progress, they have some, frustrations and that type of stuff, but they're moving through it and they have plenty of good stuff to work on, which they are addressing. You're just going to be reassuring them that they're on the right path, that they are doing the right things, that they've come far already, and that they're fully capable of taking that next step. That's going to be the biggest thing that you're doing. Yes, you want to do things to keep them engaged and coming back and excited about the process, but you can do that without making a bunch of different changes. I remember hearing stories at the beginning of my coaching career around like coaches changing macros every other day based on someone's body weight and stuff. It's like, we never have good enough information about what's happening to make those sort of changes. We're overcomplicating the process. We need to take a step back and think about the big picture stuff and just reassure people that they're doing the right things. That's the most of it. Number 6, probably the most important thing, if you already have some paying clients and you're looking to grow your business, one of the most important things that you can do from that place, you're feeling good about your coaching systems, you're working past that stuff, that type of thing, is start to niche down and get specific in your coaching and who you help. When I go to your social media profile, I should know exactly who it's for. And it should be specific around the result that they get, the type of person they are, their frustrations. I should be able to see that in your bio, and I should see it throughout your content in terms of like keywords, feelings, pictures, emotions, visuals, all that stuff. It's one of the easiest things you do, especially in the online landscape. You're not tied to a geographical location, which many coaches are when they start, because they come from, a training background where they got to work with people in their, physical geography because they have to come to them, that kind of stuff. Online isn't the same thing. You can get more specific. You can reach different people. And therefore, getting more specific around who you help is one of the smartest things you can do. It doesn't mean you have to turn people away that want to work with you that don't fit those demographics. But if you never market to someone specific, it's never going to land. When you go out fishing, you just don't think, I'm going to bring a rod and a lure and I want to catch whatever it is. No, you go to a specific spot with a plan in mind, what you're hoping to catch and what that would look like. And you start to tailor your strategy around that. If you try to catch everything, you're not going to catch anything. Hope that makes sense. What do we got here? The final reminder. You know what you need for your client to get results. You probably have a pretty good idea what it is. If they do push back and want to do it a different way, I don't want to track my nutrition. I don't want to do this. Learn to present why your approach is best and in their best interest to go down that path. You need to do that. Tracking is probably the most important one. I'm a huge proponent of tracking. I do like numbers a lot, but it allows us as coaches to get closer to the controlling for the things that matter the most and getting clients results and all that stuff. It's really important. Um, really, really helpful. But sometimes they don't want to do it because they feel like it's too much work. They feel like it's going to be too hard for them. Although they'll gladly like avoid vegetables for 8 weeks because they feel like the carnivore diet's what they need to be doing. They'll do much harder things. But you need to present what you're doing as the best course of action tied into the goals that they want. So I totally understand that, hey, maybe this is a little bit of work to get going. But in my experience, after working with thousands of clients, this is going to give you the best chance at the result that you're after, because you're going to learn more about your food. You're going to have more control of it. You're going to build habits that are going to get you a result right now, but also you can, utilize throughout your life. And it's the best path to success. I wouldn't suggest this unless this is what's going to help you get a result. And when you start to present these things, why they're in their best interest, people are like, you're right. You're the expert. I'm going to give this a try. And it's never as daunting. It's never as hard as I thought it would be. Those are 7 coaching reminders, nutrition coaching reminders you may need. Any questions about any of that stuff? Any general questions? Anything that is going on with you right now that's really getting in the way of you starting and growing your nutrition coaching business? Feel free to drop them in the chat. If you're watching the replay, add a comment as well. It helps everything in terms of the channel. I'll respond. I'll see it. I keep on tabs with things here. Our community is growing and it's amazing, but I still do respond to stuff and see it and like to hear from you guys. So fill me in without a doubt. And if you're thinking about nutrition coaching and going down this path, apply for the program. An application doesn't mean that like it's a done deal. We can still have a conversation about it. We probably should have a conversation about it, because without all the details of the conversation and what it entails, you might not know if it's for you or not. So it's one of those things where apply for the program, have a conversation, and then we'll go from there. Hope you found that helpful today, guys. Have a great weekend. Let me know if there's anything else, and we'll be chatting soon. See ya.